Hello again, guys. Script here with another video, and this is just verifying everything I've been saying for literally, a couple years on my channel. Star Wars is getting closer and closer to exposing the Jedi Order for what it is. That horrible Jedi Order, those awful Jedi. Why did Luke want to become a Jedi? They're awful. What an idiot. I can't wait for them to show how stupid the Jedi are and how great the dark side is. It's going to be awesome. Amal Stenberg, star of the upcoming Disney Plus show The Acolyte. From Russian Dolls, Leslie Headland gives new hints about her role. Now, as far as the actress is concerned, I'm actually appreciative that she's in this, in the sense that she was a big Star Wars fan as a kid. There's photo evidence, there's receipts. She clearly does care about Star Wars. She's not one of these people that doesn't. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't necessarily mean the writers care about Star Wars, which, of course, we've seen the reaction from the actors and actresses of the sequel trilogy and their response to what was done, and they cared about Star Wars. So that doesn't mean anything other than I'm just saying that to say I have nothing against this person whatsoever. Whatever. You're doing your job, right? Which is going to be, I think, a total disaster. But anyways, Amanda Stenberg, soon to star in Star Wars series The Acolyte, created by Leslie Headland, shared a little bit about where the show fits into not just Star Wars timeline, but its ever-evolving perspective on its core concepts. Yeah, tear it all down. Tear it all down. The Jedi are garbage. Get them out of here. I don't want Jedi anymore. I mean, 1,000 generations of peace? Who wants that? Those guys are bad guys. They're idiots. In the context of the Star Wars universe, it's a time of great peace, theoretically, Stenberg said, referring to the High Republic, an era several generations prior to the events of the Phantom Menace. They're going to ruin the Phantom Menace, guys. They've already ruined the OT. Remember what they did to the OT and the characters in the sequels? Now they're going to wreck the prequels. I'm telling you now, that's what's going to happen. They can't help themselves. If they don't, if this show makes the prequels super duper awesome, I will happily eat crow and be excited. But I'm telling you, they can't help themselves. It's also a time of an institution, and it's a time in which conceptions around the Force are very strict. Yeah, how dare those Jedi telling you might go to the dark side? You should be able to just do whatever you want. Who cares? Just like Anakin did, right? I mean, that was great. Who cares? All those Inquisitors, too. Who cares what the stupid Jedi are? You should be able to just do whatever you want with the Force, right? Yeah. And I think what we're trying to explore within our show is when an institution has a singular conception of how power can be used. We try to provide a lot of different perspectives and answers to that question. The idea is to kind of honor the ethos of Star Wars and ideas around the Force and also challenge them. Hopefully harmoniously. Why can't you guys write an interesting story without making the bad guys less bad and the good guys more bad? Why is this so hard? So, I'll give you an example. So, Han Solo, right? When they first meet Han Solo, he's not really a good guy or a bad guy. You could argue he's kind of a bad guy because he's doing, some illegal stuff, and he's probably transporting goods sometimes that he probably shouldn't be transporting. That's why he's got the compartments to smuggle stuff, and he's a smuggler. So, but throughout the story, because we had defined good and defined evil in the movie series, in the original trilogy, you actually could watch him, right? He comes back and he saves the day. No, he shoots a TIE fighter, and the TIE fighter hits Vader's fighter and gives Luke the opportunity to take the shot, and then he's saying he's going to leave, and then he feels bad. He came back, and then he's going through that struggle of, is this really what I want to be doing? And then he becomes a general. He becomes this really good guy. Why can't you have the Jedi good, the Sith bad, and then have the characters work that out in their own story? Instead of saying, we're going to challenge the goodness of the Jedi because they're bad. We don't want peace. We want death. Yeah. It's so stupid, and it's not going to work. If you go down this road where you completely change Star Wars, and it's clear good and versus evil tone, which George makes it very clear that's what it is. You're trying to turn it, and I've said this in other videos, it's like Andor. They're trying to turn it into Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was successful. Okay, that doesn't mean every single IP should be following Game of Thrones. That's dumb. It's not for everybody, and it's not for everything. If you go down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. I guess Yoda was just an idiot because he was a Jedi. Challenging them, hopefully harmoniously. Hopefully. These people do not sound like they're super confident that the fans are going to like this, which tells me this show is going to be an absolute disaster. Because if they already are like, hopefully it goes well, hopefully it's harmoniously when we change the way we view the Force. It's like, dude, you had a winning formula. Why are you changing it? This is so stupid. That's what makes me think it's all ego with these people, right? Because like you had a winning formula with what you bought. You bought Star Wars because it was a winning formula. Why would you try and change that? It doesn't make any sense. And I hate the Inquisitors. Why? Because they were former Jedi. Why would a Jedi who's been training their whole life be like, yeah, you're right, I'm going to go kill other Jedi for myself? It's stupid. But that's where it all started, right? They bought the IP, they brought that in Rebels, and they started blurring the lines. And it's just going to make it a muddy mess that's not exciting, really. And they do this, too, because writing-wise, it's a lot easier in the sense that, like, you can kind of have a character just go off the rails out of nowhere, and there's, like, you don't have to have any rhyme or reason for it, which, if you're trying to write, is easier. It's easier, right? Like, you could have an Inquisitor who's this good guy, right, who's been good his whole life, and he's a Jedi. Oh, he just turns his back on it and turns, yep, now I have my new character. Done. Don't have to, like, go find someone else or some other dark side user. No, just switch them over. Done. We're done. Moving on. Next episode, right? It's just lazy. That dovetails with Headland's own statements, including those she made last summer. Star Wars is always about, and Headland's the showrunner, Star Wars is always about some version of the underdog versus the institution, and I just thought it was very interesting to do a show about the bad guys, and to set that during that time period made the most sense. So it's kind of flipped. Excuse me, it's kind of almost flipped, she said. We have more Jedi than you've seen in any Star Wars content, but at the same time, you see more morally ambiguous characters than you've seen in any other content. There it is. There it is. If you guys actually think blurring the lines is going to be interesting for the fans, you're wrong. And you're hopefully harmoniously comment tells me you're not super confident about that. I have no problem seeing it from the bad guy's perspective. In fact, one of the things I think Disney should have done when they first bought the IP was do a Darth Maul story before episode 1. Show us kind of where he came from, some of the stuff that he went through that made him what he is, because we all love Darth Maul. I wasn't a big fan of him living through getting chopped in half. That's totally stupid as far as I'm concerned. And I know his arc in the Clone Wars does have some interesting stuff in it, but I would have preferred if they would have just said, okay, well, he's dead, but we're going to do something showing his past. Same with Mace Windu, do something a prequel. He's dead. Because we do want to see that, but then she adds in this, you see more morally ambiguous characters than you've seen in other Star Wars content. Oh yeah, that's really interesting. Isn't that one of the reasons Kylo Ren kind of sucked for a lot of us? Like, that he was so, like, back and forth, pouting half the time, and then kind of evil, and even his boss told him he was a poon, and was like, dude, you're losing to a girl that never even fought before, blah, blah, blah. Like, wasn't that part of the problem? Wasn't that one of the things we thought sucked? I want to see from a villain's perspective, but I want to see, like, a capable villain. I don't want to see a villain who's like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll be good. I don't want ambiguous. I want to know what the motivations are. But again, easier to write a character when you don't have to set the motivations in place for the viewer. You can just change stuff as you go. That's what this sounds like to me. Noting that the Acolyte is from the perspective of the villains of Star Wars, Headland described the show's characters as people who are using the Force in their own way, dipping into the darker sides of the Force, and are doing it without being sanctioned by the larger... Well, yeah, if you're not part of the Jedi Order, you're not part of the Jedi Order. Like, so what? They're going to do a story about a Jedi who just decides to just start using the dark side. Oh, but look, when I used the dark side, it was good for me. That 900-year-old green guy, what a retard, thinking that this is bad. Oh, wow. Challenging long-held ideas around the Force and blurring the lines between the light and dark sides is a relatively new path in Star Wars media. It's a stupid path, and people don't like it. Nobody liked that Rey used lightning. Nobody likes that. Nobody liked that Rey was constantly angry all the time and yet didn't fall to the dark side. Nobody liked that. We thought it was stupid. And it's extending beyond just the Acolyte. Today, StarWars.com shared an excerpt from John Jackson Miller's upcoming Star Wars novel, The Living Force, which takes place before the events of Phantom Menace. Dude, they're going to ruin the prequels. But includes some of its characters, including Qui-Gon Jinn and Mace Windu. Oh, let's ruin them too. It examines the Jedi Order at a crossroads as the group considers its place in the galaxy and whether it's time to rethink how they handle their business. Is 1,000 generations of peace not enough for you people? Right? Like, do you really think that there were people around the galaxy who were, like, anti-Jedi during that period when they knew that it was peaceful and prosperous? That's stupid. And the whole thing with Palpatine. Palpatine, everyone hated him. They tore his statues down. But now with Ahsoka and some of these shows, they're trying to like make it seem like, oh, well, they weren't that bad. I mean, there's lots of Empire sympathizers around. Why would there be Empire sympathizers? The whole point is to say this system was sick, twisted, and evil, and the only reason that people worked there is because they had to, not because they wanted to. Oh, there's sympathizers all over the place. People loved Sidious. That's so stupid. Everyone hated him, but you had to do what he said, or else he'd get Vader to force choke you. Like in that first, like I said in my last video, that first meeting that the Imperial officers have, where it's like they're arguing and they're all like talking about how their idea is better, but then Vader's like, "Nah, bro, we're doing it my way," and he chokes the guy out. Like that's what bad guys do. But anyways, whatever. It's an interesting road for Star Wars to travel, and certainly opens up opportunities for stories more nuanced than clashes that may seem different characters and settings involved, but still feel awfully familiar. No, they don't feel familiar if you know how to write. Though it is not yet officially confirmed, online reports have tagged June 5th. So this summer, they're going to destroy the prequels. That is my prediction. I will come back on here and happily eat crow if I'm wrong, because I really want Star Wars to not suck anymore. But I feel like this is going to suck. No disrespect to the actress, whatever. Do your job, collect your paycheck. Absolutely. Daisy Ridley's going in for $12 million, knowing full well how divisive the sequels were. Go ahead, girl. Make your bag. I don't care. I would too. Honestly, I would if I was these people. But again, her comment, hopefully harmoniously, there's obviously insecurity from her because it is going to be bad and she knows it. I can just see it. She's sitting there going like, man, people are going to be so pissed when this comes out. And again, I'll happily eat crow, but this show is going to suck. I think these are my predictions. They're going to wreck Plagueis. They're going to diminish Palpatine because really up to this point, it's like they've talked about how the Acolyte is going to sort of set the tone for what happens in the prequels. Well, as far as I was concerned, Palpatine was just a genius manipulator. Now he's going to get help or something. They're going to have a setup for him now. So he's going to get ruined, I predict. The prequels will get ruined, and there will be lines of dialogue in those movies that now are going to be completely stupid, and the OT as well, which is what they've done. So you guys let me know in the comment section what you think. Are you excited for the Acolyte? Are you excited for the Jedi to be losers, and their whole order's stupid, and the 1,000 years of peace means nothing? Or 1,000 generations, whatever it is. Doesn't either way, it's a long time. No, they're crap. They're bad guys. You excited for this? Let me know in the comment section as usual. Thanks for watching. If you do like this content, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And check out everything else on my channel. Have a really good day.